All right, folks, we're back. So I'm going to switch over. This giant house on the corner right there. Oh, there's another trolley. Look at that. This giant house on the corner over there is for sale. It is, I want to say it's over like 6,000 square feet. It's been made into, it's been a B&B apparently for many years, but not just an ordinary B&B. My understanding is that they kind of have, like, since we're close to UPenn and former University of the Sciences, that they specialize in, housing visiting professors and dignitaries. It's a very nice old Victorian house. So I've seen the photos. It sold about 10 years ago. Now it's up for sale again. It's sitting on a nice piece of land, maybe close to half an acre, which is a huge lot in the city. If I could afford it, I would certainly buy it. And I don't know what I'd do with it, but I'd make it into something fabulous. Maybe continue the tradition of what the people have done that have owned it, for the last many decades. But it's something spectacular. It's something that should be seen for sure. So now I'm going to cross over. I showed you all, I think in video 2, in part 2, a part of Clark Park. But now what I'm going to do, we're across the street from Clark Park. So we're going to keep walking and just show different parts of the neighborhood. So over here, Clark Park is huge. It's divided into 2 parts, right? So this is the second park over here, second part of the park over here. Oh, look at this giant old house. Look at that. So, yeah, Clark Park's huge. Now, down in the middle over there, can't really see it from here. I may try to get over there in another tour. But at one point, that bowl that's down in the second part of Clark Park, I've been told that that was a man-made lake. And I saw a photo, I think in black and white, I can't remember for sure. But I think I did see a photo one time, and it showed the actual, man-made lake filled with water. So that was crazy. Then at some point they drained that man-made lake and made it into just a big empty kind of field, right? And then when I first moved around here like 12, 14 years ago, and I can never remember the exact number, it was like a soccer field. It was like a sunken soccer field. So people would be over there playing soccer. They would play games out there for many, many hours at a time. And the people of the neighborhood really, really had a great time. And those guys that were playing were mostly like West Africans. I told you we have lots of different kinds of folks around here. So lots of Nigerians, probably some Ethiopians, Eritreans. Then, as the neighborhood gentrified, the new people, if you will, decided that they wanted to walk their dogs in. So they moved the soccer players down the street and around the corner over to what was a softball field. And then, guess what happened? The neighborhood continued to gentrify, and then they pushed the soccer players out of the softball park, and now they have little leagues that play in that park. Now, do I have a problem with that? No. I think that's great. One of the issues is those soccer guys have been living around here much longer than the gentrifiers. So my prayer is that they found a good place to play soccer and continue their tradition, because it's a big part of their physical activity, right? And they deserve that, just like anyone else does. So, and if anyone lives in the neighborhood, if I'm misconstruing anything, please correct me in the comments politely, because I try to keep up with neighborhood events, but I travel an awful lot, and I'm sometimes gone for 1 to 3 months at a time, so I could miss out on important updates. So forgive me if I've misstated anything. Now, that's a newer building right there. That's an apartment building. I think it's maybe 5 years old, something like that. That was purposely built as an apartment building. And then you'll see some older homes over there. And we're approaching back towards the park again. So I'm kind of zigzagging if anyone hasn't figured that out. Because what this does is it just gives you a scope of, you know, one little area. Now that I think is a single family house, which is rare around here. So there are only a handful of single family homes. I probably could count them on one hand if I take my time. Look at that, that's pretty. So yeah, there's room for everyone here. Look at these flowers blooming in mid-October. Isn't that awesome? I love how that happens because it doesn't always happen. So we're approaching Clark Park again. Still recording, showing houses. Look at that one over there. Looks like a little house on the prairie. There's a school bus. And if you listen, you can hear kids on the playground. I'm not going to show the kids because, you know, I don't do things like that. I don't show people's kids. But if you listen, you can hear them. They're over at the park playing. A friend of mine used to teach at a school. There's I think it's called the charter school. She was teaching over there. And they would bring the kids there at recess, which I thought was so cool. We're just strolling down. Now over there in the background, let me see if I can zoom in. You can see those were buildings for University of the Sciences. It's now been incorporated into another local university. I don't remember the name of it. I'll try to dig that up and maybe put it in the captions for you. But yeah, so since the university has been growing, they came in and tore down some old houses. Now some of those old houses were in really bad shape and there wasn't much chance of restoring them. So they put in some of these modern sort of townhome type things, which don't really fit the aesthetic of the. But again, like I said, I'm always torn about that. Do you really want to try to rebuild a Victorian house? The craftsmanship that went into those Victorian homes, it's still available, but it's terribly expensive. Like the floors in my apartment, they're quarter sawn wood oak. I've been told it's nearly impossible to get quarter sawn oak anymore because the oak trees had to be of a certain age and diameter and all that. And then I think my floors are trimmed with either cherry or mahogany, which we know both are very expensive. So do I get mad that they come in and build modern type housing? You know, not necessarily. I would like to see nicer architects out there. There's a new class of architects every year that graduates, right? And they have ideas. So I'd like to see someone come in and say, hey, we can design this for you. Why not give a college kid their first project and let them design it? They probably wouldn't want a huge fee for their first commission. And then the neighborhood gets a unique building, right? Instead of like just a box, which has no real personality. Okay, so I just came across the sign. They renamed University of the Sciences. It's now a part of St. John's University. So now you know. St. John's acquired them some years ago. I don't know when that was. I want to say it was before the pandemic. I'm not certain. But it's been probably in the last 5 to 7 years. It hasn't been very long. So let's see. We're approaching 10 minutes again. There's some of the old buildings from University of the Sciences. Now they have some new buildings across the way, which I didn't show. Let me see if I can show you. You can see a little bit of the glass over there. And here's one right there. that's one of the newer buildings. They did it in brick, and their campus extends all the way over there. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed what I think is part 4 of the walking tour of Hidden Philadelphia. So no, Philadelphia is not all dirty and crime-ridden and infested with addicts. Yes, we have those areas in our city, like most major cities in the United States have. Again, that's largely because of how our government is constructed, how they fund things, how they fund education, how they fund neighborhoods differently. But this city has some gorgeous neighborhoods. And I like my neighborhood, but it is not even the prettiest neighborhoods. Next summer, I'll get up into some areas like Mount Airy and East and West Mount Airy, Chestnut Hill, and parts of South Philadelphia, even parts of North Philadelphia that used to be run down have now been totally revitalized. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tour again. It's BJ on your screen. I enjoy doing these walking tours. It brings me great pleasure. I'm going to stop somewhere and get some decent light. Sorry about that. Yeah, I enjoy doing these walking tours. It brings me great pleasure to show that my city is beautiful and does have beautiful neighborhoods. If you like what you've seen, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have comments or feedback, put it in the comments. Be polite. That's all I ask. And then always remember that my motto is that self-care is critical and must be ongoing. Peace.